Yeah. Yeah, you have to let them know.
As you should.
Yep.
I've also kind of noticed too with a lot of my EDC shit, there's a lot of green themes. Because like the back of my foot or my
wallet
also has the green strap.
I've got fucking
IDF cosplay.
Fuck off. Listen, I'm Irish, not Israeli. There's a difference.
Yeah, we don't like the colonizers much.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Those wallets are actually kind of neat.
And I can fucking pull that out and just run that. I did that for a little bit. But.
All right, cheers, fellas. I'll hit punch and then we'll wait for the other Human Torch to get here. Cheers, cheers, cheers. I got a good list of things to go over.
Hell yeah.
First thing.
Dude.
Okay, let me try it. I haven't tried it yet.
That's good.
God
I fucking
damn.
love Whistle Pig.
That's a solid 12 year.
Smooth as fuck. Goes down easy.
Well, that was my concern. It's only 85 proof.
But dude, that's
And despite it being only 85 proof, there's still a ton of flavor.
Yeah.
Which is my concern.
it
But
kind of
I like
reminds
it. It's
me
good.
of like a Mickers with like more taste to it.
Okay, I see it.
I'm not a huge whiskey guy. I buy cool bottles, and if they taste good, great.
Same.
If they don't taste good, I'll just mix it with shit.
I have some regulars I'll go to, yeah.
We have like a $700 fucking whiskey cart right now, though.
Jesus
There you
Christ,
go.
bro.
Mine's not quite there. Actually, I'm getting through some of the more expensive stuff now.
Yeah.
SHOT Show. I think we'll go through that first.
Luhan getting slapped on the ass.
Who the fuck did that?
Someone who looked like John Fetterman at the Cry Party. Oh, no! He was dressed just like him, too, which is the funniest thing. But what I was going to ask, and also somehow the Cry Party stays a problem.
As per usual.
What I was going to ask was, did we see anything new, interesting, exciting that we like?
Not yet.
No.
Straight up, Daewoo coming back to the U.S. is really fucking
Not the
hype.
car.
Not the car.
No, the
car.
rifles.
Thank God.
The K2, like the K2 rifles are coming back to
You
market.
may have to pull that a bit closer. You're still coming through, but just so you're...
The K2 rifles coming back to market. It's like super fucking exciting because it's like the best mix of an AK and an AR that you've seen.
Fuck yeah.
They're ugly as shit, but they're vibey.
Oh shit! I just had a fly fall into my door.
Oh shit!
Nice.
Oh, is that where it ended up? That shit was right,
Send it my way,
right by
fuck
my
you.
head.
Okay. Honest, like I didn't watch a whole bunch of it this year. To be honest with you, I didn't really tune in too much. I didn't see a whole lot of attention-grabbing things other than the PSA 50.
Yeah, that's fucking wild, bro.
A sub 2K anti-material rifle. Am I terrified of it taking my face off in the process? Absolutely, but the prospect's interesting.
Are we probably gonna watch Kentucky Ballistics die from this one? Yeah, probably.
Oh, if they're smart, they give it to him first.
Like, listen, he got Mark Serbu sued over that shit, so like,
Yeah. I also like the idea of Palmetto giving out the tubes as well.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fucking hilarious. Palmetto State Thumper.
you also see that thing they're doing with what is that? Capable Armament with the suppressors.
Yeah, Capital Armory. Yeah.
So like that's so cool. I'm so happy to see shit like that starting to happen more
Was
and
it
more.
like a build kit or something?
No, you can
No.
just buy suppressors off
Ship it
PSA
to your
now.
house.
Oh,
Yeah.
dope.
It's just
Yeah.
like it's kind of like how Griffin is.
Without like, well, I mean, still
Have you bought
probably
from
NFA.
Capital Armory?
No.
Yeah, it's basically they digitize the whole process. So
Okay.
it's like add it to the cart, and then they send you like everything you have to do, and they file
Gotcha.
the forms electronically and stuff. Because the second suppressor I got was from Capital Armory.
The fingerprinting, do they just send you like the form, you print it
Yeah.
off and then take it to like the PD or whatever?
So they'll send you the fingerprint form if you don't want to go somewhere and do it, and then you just mail it back, and they ship
I
it for you
gotcha.
basically. But when they shipped like 6 cards, so I filled them all out. And so now if I have to do another one, I'll just send
send
another
it,
card
yeah.
off. Yeah.
That's how Griffin does it too, because they're based out of Texas, and their law, you don't even have to like really do a whole lot with it. You can get a suppressor shipped to your door.
There he is.
Get him, get him.
Whoa. Welcome.
Howdy, good sir.
But no, sorry, what were we talking about?
SHOT Show stuff, and then the suppressors.
Yes.
And how like Griffin like they will ship suppressors to your door. They don't require an FFL.
Yeah, Capital Armory, same thing. And then I also did Silencer Central before that.
Isn't that where you got that can from that shot off at our range day?
No, that's a Silencer Co can. That was from Capital Armory though. Yeah.
I remember you bringing that in to get shipped, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's a gnarly baffle strike."
Yeah, and that sucked too because when I sent it back, they were recalling all of their
The hybrid 40
Yes.
or 36s
Yes.
at the time because they
And
were
all
failing
of-
welds.
All of those warranty repairs were sort of prioritized first, they said, and so I waited forever for that to come back.
So, the wild part was about that. Apparently, part of the issue was that they said the cans were rated for full auto and like heavy use, and the welds were
You can yoink
not.
that out if you want to just pass it.
The welds
I'm gonna
were
share.
apparently not up to par for the abuse, which
Almost.
shocker. Fucking Silencer Shop doesn't do a good
Speaking
job.
of welds not up to par, on that Jackal that ejected that Silencer Co can, I traded the upper for another piece a couple weeks ago. I just, with my hand, unscrewed that muzzle device that was pin and welded.
Sick.
Nice.
It was like, this thing's kind of like, I can kind of like, there was like some wiggle room, some play with it, and I was like, what if I just was like, oh, all right, it's off. Because the guy he has a Griffin can, and he wanted some other sort of mounting device. He didn't want the Silencer Co thing I had on. So he's like, if you can take it off, great, without fucking it up, but otherwise don't worry about it. And I was like, no, it seems kind of loose. I was like, yep, it's off. Either they meant that or they didn't. Both realities would make sense, but...
Did you send a strongly worded email to Mike at Silencer Co?
No. No, so I've had such a shitty experience getting suppressors shipped to me. I was like, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to hope it comes back in a timely manner.
It didn't.
No, well, honestly, the first time I ordered one from Silencer Central, I get it confused with Silencer Shop. I ordered fuck.
Is anyone else seeing this, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
Pocket
pocket
sex.
pita? You just pulled pita out of your pocket?
And pocket pepper jack cheese.
Fuck
wow.
yeah.
Fuck yeah,
Good
son.
man.
That I can see why the dog is your best friend now. Yeah. With Silencer Central, it's an Optima 9. I got my first suppressor was a 9mm suppressor, and it was out of stock at the time I bought it. The website wasn't updated though. And so for weeks after I purchased it, I never got a notification saying it's on back order. Instead, I got called 3 times of someone trying to upsell me like a 45 millimeter can. I was like, no, I just want the can I bought. And then finally, after months, like, yeah, it's out of stock. We got to go to different warehouses and shit. And this is at the time when the FBI was still taking like a year to process paperwork. I was like, oh my god. So we got that, and then I went to Capital Armory later on, and it was much faster and nicer, but that's why I didn't push Silencer Co to be like, hey, give me my shit back. Plus, it was my fault, most likely, why it ejected. It wasn't on the collar properly.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't use your alignment rod.
Yeah, that was like, what, the first fucking drill of the night?
First drill of the night, first shot fired. Shoof.
That
All right,
video
guys,
was
cease
great.
fire.
Ready? What'd you see at SHOT Show you like? Anything?
No.
Yeah, that was about where I stand with
Pretty
that.
much.
Okay, so you did... Oh, go ahead.
PSA
Yeah.
always bringing, weird and interesting things. Probably the most innovative company at SHOT Show, I would say. I don't
said
know.
it with a smile.
I didn't watch a whole lot of it.
No.
It's all bullshit.
The only other one I could really think of would be like the new Aimpoint like Koa system that came out.
Is that the Glock?
Yeah, the Glock, but it's proprietary to Glock slides only. And then Primary, I think, came out with like a
Right.
similar style optic, but like
I want
PB3 gang
The
because why
side
not?
by side of, primary arms and the lead and steel. From what I've seen, just from pictures externally of it, it seems to not be as wide of a window, smaller glass. It seems to be a little more flush with
It's
the
more like the
slide.
Acro.
Yeah. But I still think a side-by-side comparison, 'cause I think in price they're similar.
Interesting.
I don't know. I honestly, I feel like it was pitched as sort of like this American-made thing, because Primary Arms sort of exists in
The
their
gray
brand
area.
thing. This is a little more of like an affordable, realm, not like an Acro sort of price point. So I'd be curious to see how it lines up.
Ask them where their glass is made.
Korea, just like UTG. Because they're kind of like the better version of UTG. Like, their stuff's not going to break if you have to use it rough, but at the same time, I don't really trust it that much.
While we're talking about lead and steel and new shit, though, I'm excited for the new optic.
Yes.
I'm hoping he goes for the smaller one.
The hype
Huh?
or the
PB3?
The new
PB2.
PB3. Yeah, the V2.
The new slimline one that looks fucking cool.
I hope they go for the smaller profile and do like a RMSC footprint, because I would love to throw that on the 365 build I'm getting ready to do, as opposed to
there you
like
go.
an EPS or something. That'd be nice.
Was it AMMJ who posted the picture of the PB3 mounted on like the D-ball or whatever it was?
Yeah, I think it was.
That was crazy.
Bunch of wild lads over there.
AMMJ fucks.
that was cool to look at too, actually. But no, he brought up that the cry party remains a
problem.
A debt of sin.
a breeding ground for individuals who just feel they could just grab women.
Oh, so
That
it's
cunt from Finance and Maneuver do something again?
No,
You
it
beat
was
me to
someone
it.
dressed like I'm convinced he was cosplaying as John Fetterman, smacked Lujan in the ass at the party. On video. It's on video too. Like, it was posted to Instagram like night of.
So, did anybody
Wild.
know who this guy is?
I don't know. She didn't like blow
Was it John
up,
Fetterman?
but it looked, I mean, I saw that video, I was like, holy shit, that's him.
I believe it's him. It could be him.
I was like, that's him.
Was it a right-handed or a left-handed slap?
I don't
Because I don't think he has a whole lot of like motion in one of his arms.
I say that stroke did a number
So,
on him,
yeah.
dude. He had a
We'll
stroke.
find
I had to
out.
apologize with his iPad, yeah.
Dude, he had that stroke, and it looked like evolution went backwards. He turned it even more of like a troglodyte than he already was.
Oh, if you want, I'll pull another glass. We're drinking some fine whiskey that was brought in. We got a 12-year Whistle Pig we're sipping on now.
Oh,
We got a-
That's
some?
nice.
Then we got
see, I am good right now.
Okay.
We also have a 7-year Heaven Hill bottled in bond.
Nice.
Yeah, just say the word.
Under U.S. government supervision.
It has to be. Well, that's why bottle and bond started. At the time, it was unregulated, and you had people that were just cutting whiskey with dip, spit, and
Fuck
just
yeah.
paint thinner.
Oh, dude, it
just,
was- There's a reason for a long time, like the whole moonshine thing. People were like, "Oh yeah, it makes you go blind." One, it was the pipes they were using, and two, what they were putting into the shit.
Fuck yeah. I want some of that shit.
No, you don't. So that's SHOT Show in a nutshell. I did mention I'm not gonna say the dude's name because I still think he does like good stuff. I'm still gonna follow him. I want other people to follow him, but I lost an incredible amount of respect for him, and I saw other people doing it too, just running around SHOT Show, bitching and moaning, saying everything's gay, people are gay, this is stupid, and like, okay, the cry party's over the top, sure, but like, don't go to it then if you're just gonna be just an asshole and bitch and moan. And specifically, this individual posted a picture of their story of someone, and it was the typical attire, the black t-shirt, the helmet, the peltors, the nods, and on the back of the t-shirt it was like pedo hunting club or whatever, and he's like, can this community get any more gay? I'm like, okay, is that whole get up outplayed? Sure.
Yes.
Right? I can admit that. But like, it's hard enough for everybody in this to sort of, find something that's cool that they can sort of latch onto. And if they're proud of the investment they made in the helmet and the ear pro, and then if they want to wear it at the SHOT Show, go right ahead. But if you're just going to walk around calling everything gay and stupid and retarded, you just sort of come across as that FUD in his armchair, just being an asshole for no reason. I was like, I lost an incredible amount of respect for the guy. I was like, this is like, it was just so like frustrating to see. But it's sort of, again, we can look at other. No, because at the end of the day, this guy didn't do anything that was like
Egregious.
Yeah, he didn't grab anybody. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't like shoot at cars on the freeway during the SHOT Show. But like, and like it's this all sort of comes back to the thing where like don't really get caught up in like worshiping the individual so much as the idea, right? And a lot of people. Not a whole lot of stuff about Grantham actually came out at SHOT Show. I was hoping some more videos of people trolling him might sort of make the rounds, but it didn't really happen.
The guy's on fucking steroids, so they probably don't want to get
I was
dotted
saying-
in the forehead.
But like that's like the embodiment of like, don't worship the man. Like if the idea is cool, the message is cool, great. But like if you get caught up in just idolizing the person, that person's just a human being.
That's the thing. I don't know if you guys already talked about this like last week, but like watching that whole community just like Grantham's following just like collapse on itself when everything came out was like, dude, you guys are really this obsessed with this guy. Like, I have a customer, you can tell he loves Garand Thumb. He loves all like the tactic, like Goober's Group and all those guys. Like, he's like, man,
Goober's Group.
Yeah,
I love it.
because fuck those guys.
Yeah, no, for real though.
Like, what kind of anyways, that's a different topic for a different time. But he's like, yeah, man, I can't believe this is happening. Who knew that Mike was like this? Like it's just like it shattered his reality pretty much. And it's like, dude, why do you idolize this guy so much? Like, he's just a dude.
Yeah.
And like, I guess that was one of the cool parts about being like having our shop associated with his old talent agency, is that we heard all of the stories. This isn't the first time he's done shit like this. Like, he's been a piece of shit for a minute and has been cheating on his wife. Like, he abandoned a whole ass family before this one. So like, it's just kind of his MO.
As far as overplayed tropes at SHOT Show go, when you were talking, like, everybody has been calling SHOT Show gay, and like Dirty Kid last year, that was like their whole thing. They did an entire video on SHOT Show, and their entire video was just, oh, SHOT Show's gay.
Yeah, literally. And they'd be like, that was different, right? Because like,
that was playful.
They were having fun. This guy was just bitching and moaning to bitch and moan. Like, he wasn't being funny about it. I was like, this is just whatever. It's not constructive. It's just stupid.
I'll still think SHOT Show is one of those things that doesn't have to happen every
year.
year.
No, agreed.
No, it could be like a biannually
Agreed.
or, something like that.
Do that shit like... Yeah.
It's cool that it
wait, no,
happens,
we were
like,
talking about it.
Every industry has like an annual conference though, and like,
Oh yeah, shots like
not much changes year over year, but like it's I get what you say though.
Shots like this industry SEMA.
Yeah, exactly.
SHOT Show is Comic-Con for dudes who think that people who go to Comic-Con are gay.
That's a good take.
But I mean, at least SEMA has like good shit every year because people are building new cars for SEMA. It's like SHOT Show.
You see the Miata that grabbed everyone's attention this year was like completely fake.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So it was like a light blue NA Miata, and it had like the intake manifold from like a Lamborghini like sticking out of the hood, the twin turbos out of the hood. None of it was hooked up to anything.
That doesn't surprise me.
I got towed in and towed out.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, so a lot of times guys will like start super ambitious builds like that, and they just don't have enough time to finish them. But like SHOT Show is like the same shit it's like every couple of years you'll get something new and cool, but SHOT Show every year is always the same shit. But that's why like SEMA's cool, is because like last year there was a dude had a fucking like Duramax that was bored out to 7 liters and it was quad turbo. Oof. And then the next year there will be somebody that'll top that, which is insane. I'd like to see somebody put one of those new valveless Cummins engines in something.
Are you talking about the big bore natural gas ones?
It's I think it's a diesel. It's a 11.4 liter, I think. But it's basically a reciprocating cylinder engine. It's a 4-cylinder. It has no valves. It's basically a fucking flat. A flat 4.
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
it's sick. I would love to see somebody put that in like a Miata. Honestly.
No, fuck it. We put it in a Ranger.
But it'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be cool, like as a rear engine Ranger.
Though,
like my year Ranger, like a 96,
like a 92. Ooh, like a 92. Put it like as a rear engine. Put it in the bed. That'd be sick.
Need it.
Nah, fuck it. Cram it in the engine bay.
It's twin turbo too.
It'll fit.
All right, cool. That we did the SHOT Show thing. We started out on something that speaks to the people. This has been my autistic focus of the week, and I had to look it up, and I grabbed a picture of it to make sure it was true before it gets changed. But obviously, slew of executive orders since the big man took over. My favorite one, though, ready? The one pertaining to the whole gender and sexual identity thing. Because of the way it's worded, we are all now women.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting as fuck.
Yes.
We are all women because now sex is determined based on observable characteristics at the time of conception.
And everybody's women.
And the Y chromosome doesn't kick in earliest 5 weeks, but more around 6 to 7 weeks. So we are all now women. Congrats.
Joke's on you. I've been a woman this entire time.
Yeah, my clit's just huge, dude.
I just pee out of my clip, bro.
I heard it. I couldn't believe it, and I rushed to like the website. I was like, "Please still be there. Please still be there." It was still there.
Fuck yeah.
And what's so funny is that this party has been has made this such a point on the campaign trail, such a sticking point and a battle that they were going to fight to win votes. And there's not a single thing about chromosomes or anything in the definition of the executive order. They just put conception on there to speak to, the evangelical base or whoever the fuck. They just completely ignored science or anything. It's hilarious.
Oh, you mean Trump's whole base pretty much evolved like the dudes that
funny.
barely graduated high school and think they're the backbone of America? It's like, oh my God.
Good. I love it.
Well, that's what you were. I mean, did anybody expect them to do their due diligence and actually word something instead of this tear jerk, pearl clutching executive order to declare there's only two sexes, right?
I'm gonna do a feedback sandwich now. I'm gonna say a nice thing before I get back to the negative. Ross is free though. I didn't expect that to happen.
Free our boy.
Didn't expect that to happen.
Even a squirrel has a
I
nut
thought
twice
for
a
sure
day.
he was gonna say, "I'll free him, vote for me," just to get the votes, and then say, there's a lot of politicking that happens. Couldn't make it work. I figured that's what we were gonna get hit with.
I mean, our boy Joe Exotic is still in fucking jail, so they did him dirty.
So are the by definition mentally retarded people from Michigan who got entrapped into trying to kidnap the governor.
Yeah, it turns out 75% of them were feds anyways.
Literally all but 2 of them were. So then, if we're still on a roll talking about this, and we can go, I'm gonna talk about the Musk thing in a second. But go ahead.
Oh, so I didn't do any research into this, and I've been asking this question all week. Actually, didn't Trump in his first go around at being president, didn't he declassify all the UAP, the UFO documents? Wasn't that his big thing?
I think that was part of it.
I don't know. It wasn't like a day one thing.
Because didn't that kind of happen during the summer of love?
That he wanted to that was his thing. He's I'm going to declassify it.
That. But then nothing happened until the Biden administration and all those hearings happened.
It's because it takes. I mean, I'm sure it's just thousands of documents of black bars and
it's bureaucracy at its finest.
Sift through. Trump round 2, Electric Boogaloo, he decides he's going to release all the K files.
That's right.
RFK, JFK, MLK. But what about Epstein?
I was about to mention
that
was a promise.
No, that's too close to home for him, man. Come on now.
It's a little too close to home.
Because when the court documents came out, his name was on there.
So did anybody see when he signed that executive order that released all these documents with his little Sharpie that he always signs his documents with? He handed it off to whatever that fucking Chad was that was standing next to him, and said, "Give this marker to Bobby Jr. Make sure RFK Jr. gets that." Classic.
I still think one of my favorite memes was Trump, RFK Jr., I think it was Elon all sitting on the plane eating McDonald's at the captain's hotel. What do you have to make sure the new guy's not a fucking cop?
Excellent segue. I'm going to look this up so I don't get it wrong. But the head of the USDA now was one of the lead lobbyists for seed oil production or manufacturing.
Which is
I'm going to look it up just to get it right.
Or the one thing I did kind of like hearing about was the Secretary of Defense now is cutting out all of the DEI bullshit with the armed forces and wants to streamline shit, which more than likely means we're going to war with someone.
Mexico.
Yeah, it's either Mexico or China at this point.
You mean the weekend fucking warrior who's now the Secretary of Defense? The weekend warrior who's now Secretary of Defense. That's who I'm going to follow into battle.
Oh, you mean the guy that totally has the Crusader cross on his chest and
is this?
It's hilarious.
Peter Hegseth.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. President Donald Trump tapped Kaylee by a vowel TKACZ. Kaylee Saj Buller.
Very Slavic name.
I don't even try that.
Yeah. Kaylee Buller. Kaylee Buller, we'll call her.
Okay.
A junk food lobbyist to lead the U.S. Department of Agriculture, despite his inauguration day vow to make America healthy again. Buller worked in the USDA during Trump's first term, but most recently she has been lobbying for the seed oil industry as president and now CEO of the National Oilseed Processors Association.
Eat real butter. Don't eat seed oils.
For the love of God.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I got to say about
How
that.
RFK has to be seething.
Dude, I think they're
We're
doing
off to a
this on
great start.
purpose. They're doing this on purpose. They want him to just keel over.
One consistency, though, is that the U.S. space program has not changed much. We like to see that.
Yeah, it's great to hear. The homies love that.
And now I'm going to try to have as nuanced of a take as possible with this. Him being as involved in politics as he is, and now very much a representative of the American people, absolutely deserves every bit of hate and shit and criticism for what he did. 100%. Do I think he meant it? I don't know.
Oh.
And I say I don't know only because of how pro-Israel this whole administration is, right? And then there's another point too.
I know what's
was
coming.
it? But anywho, I don't think it is only because of how pro-Israel the administration is. Go on, I'm just say it.
I would like you to complete your thought.
No,
I want to hear
no,
that.
it was the visa thing. The visa thing about
Oh my
him
God.
saying, everyone's saying how he wants to replace white Americans with the visa owners, which kind of flies in the face of the whole Nazi thing too. There are, however,
But does it?
I will admit, there are, however, some very interesting ties, and put your tinfoil hats on, to the Nazi Bronze book about colonizing Mars. The guy who does it in the book, his name is The Elon, and apparently Elon named one of his sons like The Elon as well. So he very well may have meant it. And
definitely
then to
did.
sort of put on the other, side of the spectrum where it's like, well, look at everyone else who's done it, and you see screen grabs of like AOC, Clinton, Kamala Waltz. However, if you look at the videos of those people doing it, they're sort of doing what I'm doing now. They're talking with their hands, and these are screenshots or pictures taken by the press at inopportune times. If you play those videos of them talking versus Elon's video, you are mentally retarded to say that they are the same thing, because Elon's video, it's pretty fucking clear.
Oh, it's
He's
dead
not just
on.
talking with his hands. It was a deliberate gesture. It wasn't, caught at an inopportune time pointing at something with his hand or making an expression. So, that's me trying to explain both sides. I think it's completely retarded, though, nonetheless.
Look, it's bad when you catch Trump off guard with some shit, because he turned around and was like, what the fuck?
Everyone's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Fuck,
no.
One, I think Stephen King was kicked off Twitter for calling Elon Musk the first lady. So there's that.
That's a badge of honor.
Two,
It's hilarious, but fuck Stephen King.
so you can be very pro-Israel and still be a fucking anti-Semitic Nazi.
Okay.
Because Israel has nothing to do with the Jewish people.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
The Jewish people have to do with Israel.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
Zionism's a
One's
wild
a state,
thing.
One's a
fair.
state, the other is a people. Two, he's not autistic. He's Auschwitzed. And yeah, if anybody who clearly sees that he was he's stimming or no,
I've never
watch
once
the video.
a retarded person throw up the Heil Hitler.
Watch the video. Watch
Oh, yeah.
the video of his. If he was, he's not
did it
stimming.
twice. He did it
fucking twice.
He did it twice.
That's not a stim.
Once he did it to the American people in the audience, and the second he did it to his fucking Fuhrer. Right? He turned immediately. He probably cosplays as fucking Goebbels in his fucking while he's running around his fucking compound or
Well,
whatnot. And that's who he wants to fucking be.
Well, this is my thing. What a shock that the South African boar is a fucking Nazi. Wow, what a shock. The
Who's
culture.
really good at making rockets.
Yeah, they're really good at making rockets, and wow, it's like they have a history of segregating people and really fucking up people. That's a wild thought. And of course, he also supports a modern apartheid state that exists in Israel.
He also supports the AfD in Germany, which is a ultranationalistic, Nazi adjacent ideology.
I wasn't familiar with that. I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Apparently, his grandparents were members of the Canadian Nazi Party.
I actually read that the other day, and I was not surprised.
Some
honestly.
other fucking weird Elon Musk. See,
or that his dad ran a diamond mine.
He buys his levels in Path of Exile 2 because he can't game. He's a good con man.
Your bottle?
He's a good con man. That's just like Trump.
Thank you, sir.
Just like Trump, he's capable of getting dumb people, of which the majority of humanity are, to believe whatever it is that he's fucking selling. And it's great. The guy did not invent Tesla. He bought Tesla. And then he sued to have it be that he was one of the original founders. This guy doesn't know shit about fucking AI or electric vehicles. It's the people he fucking pays. Same thing with SpaceX. Motherfucker doesn't know shit about space. He just wants to go to space. Right? He doesn't know shit about boring underground either. Because look at that. All that was to fucking tank...
it's basically a glorified Q line from Detroit.
Yeah. And basically the only reason he did was to tank actual high-speed rail in the state so that he wouldn't miss out on money.
Yeah, the dude is literally... He's almost identical to like a modern-day Rockefeller or like one of the old titans of the industry, except
he's worthless cunt.
Thank you. I don't know if you've read his book, but I was listening to somebody at work sort of summarize because they were reading it. The reason why he has so many kids and why he's ended up sleeping with so many famous people the way he has is that it is his belief that because of how brilliant he is, he has this innate responsibility to populate the earth with brilliant, beautiful children. And so now he has to pick these famous people of status to sleep with, to have kids with, to help spread this wisdom and this knowledge and this brilliance that he has throughout the earth. So, like, just to set the tone of who we're talking about.
Not spoken like a villain.
Hairline.
Yeah. Dear God.
Because don't let anybody believe you.
You've seen the early PayPal days? He's
dude.
Yeah, that's because Turkish plugs are a thing. Dude paid a lot of money to have a
like when he got that Ferrari. When he got that,
Turkish doctor.
Actually, there is something to be said about that. About money buying happiness. Because like the second he got that McLaren F1, I think his hair started coming back too.
Anybody that says money doesn't buy happiness has never, ever, touched money. Just the smell of money makes me euphoric, dude.
All those fuckers on TV that we hate so much, I don't think any of them look particularly happy.
That's because they're on drugs.
I think, the only...
They would look happy then.
Yeah, not always.
Not the drugs that they're doing. Smoking weed makes you happy. Doing meth does not.
Listen, they're all on kinds of uppers and downers and all that stuff. I think the only rich person I've seen that's actually looks legitimately happy is Rogan.
Yeah.
That man.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, come on. Rogan's not terrible, bro.
He's a dick. Fuck Joe Rogan.
I don't mind him. I like him.
You can make an argument, but I'm going to make this argument that you have a responsibility as a platformer, right? Because Joe Rogan could make as much money as Joe Rogan does just fucking sitting at a table with a bunch of his other fucking goons. And I've never listened to a single episode. I've listened to snippets. I know enough about Joe Rogan from I watched him on news radio back in the fucking day, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's a funny guy, right? He's not the greatest of human beings in my eyes. He could just sit there and fucking bullshit and have a fucking 3-hour long episode of him just talking shit, and people would listen in. And sure, having on guests and having a good fucking conversation is great, but when you sit there and you don't push back against people who are outright telling you fucking absolute bullshit, which you know to be true, you're doing a disservice to the people, to your listeners.
Now, which one have you seen him not push back on?
There's a lot of stuff that he doesn't push back.
That's fair. I've seen
there's a lot of he'll let sure he'll push back on some wild ass shit, right? But there's a reason Bill Burr calls him out on on a daily fucking basis. Bill Burr will be like, "What are you even saying?" Because Joe's just you have a great point. You have a great point, right? Because sure, I guess as a podcast host that you don't really want to. Do you want to sit there and have a
I
battle?
was going to cut away to
Right.
something
Sure.
else.
I mean, and then you now not have an episode, and you paid this guest to come on, and all this shit. So
I get what
keep
you're
it to
saying, though,
entertainment.
like-
Keep it entertainment.
Yeah.
But don't once you start attempting to inform people, I think that you have a moral
And
responsibility.
he said that like he brings on people to talk to that he finds interesting necessarily. So it's not like, and most of the time, like, because, and I do enjoy
Man's a
listening to him
meme.
because I think he's like one of the best interviewers, like, period. Because in the episodes, he's found a way to do very little talking, to where the point where the guest does an incredible amount of talking based on like just very little feedback from Joe, very few questions being asked from Joe, and I just find that a very interesting exchange and something to like study because
I will say, when it comes to Rogan, I really only tune into his podcast for like certain guests. Like when he has like Steve.
Yeah, I don't listen to every.
Like when he has
insane.
like Ranella on, or like Joey Diaz, or
Listen to the MMA guys,
Yeah.
and, like the comedians. And
that's
really
about it.
Yeah.
Because like those are really my
During
interests.
COVID, and like the reason I really got into him, like it was because during COVID, because like
We didn't
he
have shit
was,
to
like,
do.
the only one like platforming people that were getting deplatformed. You were saying anything other than whatever the news and the government was telling you to do, and so I give him an incredible amount of credit for that. That's why I just like him, but that's me.
Sure, but I mean,
And he
how
has
many,
done things
how
that
many
don't-
of those people who were deplatformed, didn't know what the fuck they were talking about in the first place, and maybe should have not have been opening their mouth on things that they're not experts on, right? Like you can have an opinion, right?
I mean,
but opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got them, and they all fucking stink.
That's kind of how I feel like with Sean Ryan. With like, damn, dude, he's bad. But like,
He's
that's
just very vocal.
That's kind of how I feel like with Sean Ryan's show. I feel like he lets some people on that are like really questionable at best, because like that Terminal CWO guy that he had on got
I
his
missed that.
shit pushed back
I don't listen
hard.
to Sean Ryan as much as
You're not missing much, honestly. I really only listen when he has like.
He's a
the-
Fed.
Yes, he is. He legitimately worked for the CIA at one point.
He probably still does.
That wouldn't be surprising, but. Like, when he has, like, the cool guys on, like, the operator stories on, that's when I listen to it. Like, with Blake Cook, or, like, with...
The Blake Cook episode was really good. Even
Or-
like as a cop.
Or, like, Kyle Morgan. That episode was fucking phenomenal. The guy he just had on was a Night Stalker. With some
wow.
cool-ass episodes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you while I was flirting with Demo. but- okay, again, there's nothing wrong with having people on and having them tell their stories, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
That's the
Again,
majority of the reason I watch
but-
podcasts.
But once you start, look, you want a Tim Kennedy or I don't know
Yeah.
whoever's the other people who you want to lie
Tim
about
Kennedy.
whatever
Yeah,
it is,
whatever about
so
that
that you
guy.
can pretend that you have the biggest dick, and you're the hardest, toughest guy in America, right? And you choke Bin Laden out. You like the 2 bullets you put into him, like he was high on hashish. And, they wouldn't put him down, so I had to go hands-on, and choke the life out of him. Cool.
The bag
Cool
of
story,
fucking
bro,
grenades.
right? But once that's fine. You want to tell your fish story,
Yeah.
right? Cool. That's your war story. Ham it up, my guy. But once you actually get in and you actually start telling disinformation or mistaken information on a podcast like that, whoever is hosting you has the responsibility to fact-check your ass.
Exactly.
Don't air it. If you can't fucking sit here and push back against it or be like, verify what it is that you're telling, don't let it come through. I don't have to verify. Cool, you went hands on with Bin Laden. Dope story. Bro.
Well, here's the
That's
thing.
Great.
You look at, because there's a couple cases like that with like Rob O'Neill, Marcus Luttrell, and then Tim Kennedy now. At the time, no one was going to stand up and be like, yeah, they're lying, they're full of shit, because they were riding the wave of their popularity still. Like Rob O'Neill saying he was the one that killed Bin Laden and all that shit, when in all reality he wasn't. He was like the third guy into the fucking room. Same thing with Marcus Luttrell, where he pretty much lied about the whole lone survivor situation. Turns out, yeah, no, it wasn't 100 insurgents. It was more like a group of like 20 that overwhelmed his guys, and Marcus Luttrell turned into a coward and ran. Literally, like, not trying to quarterback there because we weren't there, but trying to sell it up as this whole book of like, yeah, I was a hard ass and I was the only one that lived. Fuck you. Like, get out of here. And like Tim Kennedy lying about everything. Like, to be honest, Tim Kennedy's been super cringe for a while. Like, oh yeah,
Agreed.
I carry a 5.7 because if you're hiding behind a car door, I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you.
Like, Fuck you, dude. You're full of shit.
Yeah.
Anybody who's out here fucking riding to celebrity status on their war
Military
hero
service.
stories are not badasses.
Speaking
And they're
on that though, have you seen the Sam Hyde clip of him ripping McPhee?
Yes, dude.
Holy
yes.
fucking shit, is it funny? And I don't like ride Sam Hyde. I don't really watch it at all. It just came across my feed one day. The funniest 20 minutes I've ever spent on a lunch break, just watching him tear this dude apart, telling this story about just GWAT era shit. It's so good.
Dude, that guy is so... McPhee is so full of shit. Watching that episode of Sean Ryan show hurt. I was like, bro, so much of this just seems like lies.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I was in the mountains of Afghanistan for
didn't-
3
I didn't
days
even
by
watch
myself.
it. I didn't watch. Yeah, I know he was on Rogan too. I didn't watch that either. And the entire reason why is because I got fed like a reel, like a short, about him saying how gay like red dots on pistols were, and how nobody should ever have them, and how pointless they are, and how stupid they are. Not he'll never use them. And I was like, "You're old."
Or my
You're just old
favorite,
and angry.
my favorite. No one should carry Kydex leather holsters because this one time when I was running a course, it snapped
Yes.
and crunched on my dick. Like, cool, bro. No one gives a fuck. Go stop trying to sell me your piece of shit leather holsters, bro. I don't want that shit.
If you do something to crack a Kydex holster, I think that's relatively impressive.
Willie broke his.
Well, my guess is old Fud Stick, who's running around talking about breaking one, had an early model Kydex holster that are
Valid.
brittle and bullshit, and
Probably.
he was running it because it's the hot thing, and then he got it in his head that all Kydex sucks.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, the technology was in its infancy.
Yeah. I didn't think about it that way.
Still, it's one of those things, like, he's still preaching the shit when it's been disproven at this point.
Right.
And the dude's so involved in the tactical industry that it's at a certain point, you would find out, like, hey, Kydex is kind of the wave. It's kind of what everyone's doing now. Or even if you don't like Kydex, like, Boltron exists. It's even more durable.
No,
So, like,
what's the difference between Boltron and Kydex?
it's like
I
a
just
thicker,
don't know.
it's like a
Okay.
more durable plastic than Kydex
Gotcha.
is. Because that's what this holster's made out of.
Okay. Who makes that?
This is Freedom Holsters. They're actually a local place.
Oh, cool.
They're out of Westland, Michigan.
Oh, sweet.
Everything's made in-house, veteran owned and operated. They're good people.
Tight. I didn't even know that was an option as far as like material goes. Never heard of it before.
For a while, it was on a lot of like cop gear. It's kind of the plastic they use because it's a little more durable for like their mag pouches and what they use to holster their tasers.
Gotcha.
Of course, working at a fucking cop shop, I would know that.
Do you want to land this Rogan thing first before we move on? Are we good?
Let's land this Rogan thing.
I'm good.
All right, good.
Cool, we're good.
I mean, fuck Carlos Mencia.
Yeah, fuck him.
It's the only thing I'll agree with Joe Rogan on for a lot of things.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, this blew over very quickly, and I was hoping it wasn't going to happen because I did want to talk about it. I've been figuring out some logistical stuff here, and that's why this is like a 2-week late episode. NAR caught in the legal light for a second there. Do we know what happened or why that happened?
So they got caught up in some shit where people were saying that NAR tourniquets weren't good. Like they were sourcing out to China. And that was causing windlasses to break and stuff like that.
Okay.
But in all reality, they weren't outsourcing to China. They're still making them here like they're supposed to because they're a very compliant company. They just have QC problems like everyone else does. And unfortunately, that happens to be a very vital fucking tool that they make. But it wasn't really as big of a deal as everyone made it out to be.
got
No, it turned to be
dismissed in, like, 24 hours.
Yeah, because it wasn't. They're not producing shit overseas. Yeah. Everything's in country, and somebody decided to talk some shit, and the fucking industry decided to jump on it and fucking run with it before verifying their fucking claims because
Rhino Rescue took a sweep.
because you have to. Cause, I mean. Oh yeah, I have to prove that everybody has their tourniquets made in China, so ours aren't crap.
Relax, Tacticon. Fuck
That
them.
name is so funny to me. That con is literally in the name.
Fuck. Regardless,
It's so funny to me.
fuck them anyways, dude. They're so like. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for like shitting on T-Rex arms because Lucas is a piece of shit. But like, they go so far into it when they don't make nearly as good of a product
Yeah.
as T-Rex does. Because like as much of a piece
You
of
can
shit as
turn
he
that heat down
is,
if you want.
he still makes a solid product at the end of the day. Like his holsters aren't bad. Like, but trying to shit all over him because of what he's doing.
They don't work for me, but it's a decent holster.
I also don't like him either, but that's
Yeah.
just me.
The Sidecar 1.0 fucking sucks.
Well, if it was a 2.0.
The 2.0 probably isn't much better. Yeah, fuck the Sidecar 1.0. I do run the T-Rex Arms Ragnarok on my belt, though, and it's pretty okay.
I rest my case.
Yeah. But no, that whole thing was retarded and just stupid. And at this point, if you're carrying a tourniquet, if it's not like a ETQ from like Snake Staff or like like one of the SWAT T tourniquets or the or an NAR tourniquet, like a good cat tourniquet, if you're carrying nothing, but if you're carrying something besides that, you're fucking wrong. And don't carry a goddamn what was that? A rat's tourniquet? Because they are fucking stupid and they
Which
don't
ones
work.
are those?
The string.
Okay.
No, the rats are like an elastic band.
That's
Okay.
the SWAT
Like a
T.
half-inch.
The SWAT T is
The
more
SWAT T
elastic.
is okay, but it's like if you can carry literally anything else, carry literally anything else.
They're not nearly as bad as everyone thinks they are. I legitimately used those when I was in EMS, and they actually work pretty well.
All right.
They're not. Everyone shits on them for literally no reason. The SWAT T wides are probably one of the better TQs on the market. Behind, honestly, I really like the ETQ. I like where Snake Staff's head's at. It's compact. It's small enough that it'll fit in your concealed carry like 9mm mag pouch.
Damn.
It works so well. They hurt like a bitch, but all tourniquets do. So like, whatever.
Yeah, none of them are going to feel good.
No.
I will say on that note, I did a resolution. I actually did one this year. I spent my HSA funds on a bunch of like IFAC and first aid stuff.
Good for you.
Good shit.
And most of that came after like the New Year's attacks. I was like, okay, I think like carrying more serious like medical and stuff is like more of a priority now. So I bought like 3 like stop the bleed kits from like NAR and just put them in like a sort of like a pouch in my bag.
My
Just gonna
family
be
has
living
to
in my
stop.
backpack everywhere I go now, basically.
My family has to stop going
that's
to the
nifty.
hospital for literally everything, so I can actually use my
Jesus Christ.
fucking spending account on shit like that.
What do you got there? Want to walk us through that little contraption you got?
I feel like when we did our like
We might have.
truck gun things. So, Gorilla Tactical. Shout out Gorilla Tactical.
They're great.
All the Kydex. Extra magazine in one of their little skids.
Oh, it's
They
like this is similar to the Gray Man like Hush Rig, isn't it?
A little bit. I have a couple of these. I think they were originally built out to hold the snake scaff.
This is like even more minimalist though. I like
Dude,
this.
Yeah, it's
Those
not bad.
ETQs go so hard.
chem light on that's dope.
Yeah, the chem light breaks real easy, but you can replace it, so that's not terrible. So this is the KISS, the KIS, the Keep It Simple. This is the V1. The V2 has a little squadron
Yeah.
patch right there, and it actually has like metal clips. I like this. I like them both. This one gets through metal detectors. Not like
Gotcha.
they're really gonna flag you for
It's
but
first aid
like,
stuff,
Again,
yeah.
well, one, if I'm going through a metal detector, I'm going to have a G10 knife on me. So like.
Shout out Black Triangle.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't need them, checking my waistline for anything. Even if it is clips to a IFAC.
Right.
Yeah. So hyphen, some combat gauze, quick clot combat gauze,
Yep.
a pack of gloves. Fits nice.
That's
And the
tight.
cool thing about the just the one wrap is that like it's not as rigid.
Sure.
Right, so it moves more with the body. So I like it. It
Do you-
goes from my.
Do you carry
everywhere.
that in like your appendix position, or where do you usually like position that when it's on your belt line?
I'll put it on. I'll show you here if the demo will hold the mic.
Take it off. Oh, I got you.
Typically, it would go here, right?
It's like what, you're 11 o'clock?
Yeah. 11 o'clock, probably a little closer to the 10. It depends on what you're wearing and whatnot. And then what else you're also going to strap in there?
What belt is that?
This is the Arbor Arms.
Nice.
In there. The only problem is that like once you start getting
Shit on it.
Once you start
everything
loading it
into
up,
your, into your. I'm not the biggest of dudes, so I don't have the most real estate over here. So like generally this would be
Sure.
in a pocket or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I like the Neo Mag.
I mean, if I'm going somewhere cool, you'll have this right out.
I like that. That's nice.
Well, like that's like bringing up the New Orleans thing. That's kind of why I like our friends over at Prepared Mindset, Austin's podcast. He was talking about that on like his considerations for like the new year and like carrying more medical, carrying a firearm that you're actually proficient with, and not some pocket pistol bullshit like a lot of people seem to like carrying because it's light. Like
With your 43.
yeah,
43 is a decent gun. I mean, the barrel
I know,
is
I'm
like.
just having fun.
but the 43
We're just
X
having
exists.
fun.
Who's carrying a 43?
Right.
Fucking the wrong one. It shoots bullets, doesn't it? And look.
So does that.
The light
so does
fucking
that Rough
sucks,
Rider.
but
That's another reason why I wanted
So does the
regret
Flavor
getting
Town
the
Rough Rider.
43 over the X.
Who's the dude? What was it? Missouri or something? He took a 40-yard shot in a fucking food court at a mall or some shit.
It was at the
Oh,
Glock
yeah.
26, Mr.
Okay,
right.
Dickens. It was in Indiana.
Shout out.
Cool.
Glock 26 gang.
Dope. Great shot. Amazing. You know what? You know, but you're not. Pistols aren't meant for doing battle at 50 fucking yards.
No, they're
Right?
not.
They're 15 yards or closer. Really, 21 yards.
25,
whatever,
I think, is the max,
Yeah.
ideally.
you're not reaching out with that thing type.
Unless you're Devin from CMI.
Unless you want to hit something like an LCP at 100 yards of irons, yeah.
Man, is wild.
I mean, fair enough. Should you be, again, software beats hardware, and if you're more than capable of running if you can do that with, with a 3 fucking 80, cool, that's great. You can then I trust you to be capable with any firearm in shorter ranges, but you don't really need to be with the 50.
Can't read the 38, but
Pistol.
Don't carry 380.
I mean, 380 is a solid option.
It's anemic. And that's coming from a black guy.
It's
does that
anemic,
mean?
but I've also literally watched it split someone's head in half. So,
Yeah, but like headshots are different. But if you're carrying 38 and you're, doing the normal self-defense carry and you got to pump 12 rounds into somebody's torso to fucking take them down, and your gun, because it's 380 and it's tiny and it only holds 9 rounds.
The lung's going to drop someone.
A 380? I don't know, man.
It
I've
would,
seen-
actually.
I've
After a
seen
full
some
mag?
shit.
it does it.
But
I'll
the
tell you
lung,
that
I
from
feel like anything to the lung's
I'll tell
gonna
you that
drop
from
someone.
from watching it and working in like one of the most shooting heavy cities in America. Yeah, gotta love that Detroit pride, dog. But like watching those shootings happen, people have been shot with 38s. 38s and 380s will do the job because all a 380 is a 9mm chopped in half. It was called 9mm Kurtz for a long time.
I like that.
Shot placement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shot placement. Again, you're talking about a lot of fucking force coming out. Sure, cool. Like a 45, I can shoot you anywhere and you're gonna drop. Yes, there's
Two
a lot
world
of
wars,
there's a lot
brother.
of
Gotta play.
the hydrostatic shock coming through just because of the weight and the FPS of the fucking round. But like, put it in the right spot. It doesn't matter what size it is. You hit the CNS and that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Dropping.
So, yeah.
Well, a prime example of
Get
like
good.
Thanks for playing.
Put your bullets where you need them to be, and you won't have to worry about explaining how they got places they're not supposed to be.
Exactly. But like the thing is too, like a perfect example of shot placement and why it's so important, like the Miami-Dade shooting. This is a topic I am very
Talking about the nightclub one?
no. Miami-Dade was the FBI shooting where they were attempting to apprehend 2 armed bank robbers.
Oh, I know this one.
So this is
Beginning
what
of the,
this
Lord,
is.
Lord Colossus song has that
Yes.
news clip in it.
Yeah, that's a great song. But so like
Wild.
that whole thing was one that was the start of why 10mm was even developed in the first place, which led to 40 and then 9mm getting loaded better, was because the agents on the scene mostly were equipped with 38 revolvers, and shotguns. And of that, there was one agent that had a semi-automatic handgun. It was a Smith & Wesson, like one of their 9mm bullshit handguns that weren't really great. He died really fast because he lost his glasses during the car crash. These guys placed several well-aimed shots on these robbers, but because of adrenaline, didn't really do a whole lot. What ended the firefight was when these two robbers were out of ammo, a guy literally walked them down with his revolver, putting shots through the windshield. Killed one, and then he got literally right up into the guy's face, put it into his chest, and pulled the trigger and killed him. But in the wake of this, 2 FBI agents are dead. Thousands of rounds fired in this engagement. And the FBI went, oh, fuck, what do we do? Hey, let's get semi-automatic handguns in the agents' hands, and let's try and do something about this. So they're like, hey, 10mm. Sure, someone needs to develop it. Like, someone needs to develop around for us. So 10mm comes into existence.
And then nobody can qual with it.
Well, that's also because the guns that the FBI agents were issued were hot dog shit. They were issued Smith & Wesson 1000 models, which Smith & Wesson makes a good handgun now. Back then, it was dubious at best with their semi-automatics. That gun was not designed for 10mm. There were other options on the table, but the U.S. government were like, hey, lowest bidder, you win.
Yeah, of course.
Because one of the options on the table was the Colt Delta rail, which was a 10mm 1911, which is what the FBI HRT got, and they ran those
like
to
the
great
Boomer's
effect.
Desert Eagle.
Pretty much. But like, shot placement's a huge thing. It's something we've learned not only through like Miami-Dade, but like the Hollywood shootout and a lot of these shootouts where you see suspects getting plugged with several rounds in non-vital areas, and finally a shot comes in and threat's done.
You mean this isn't a great this isn't a good training grip
No.
on any gun?
The
No.
teacup grip doesn't work on the revolver?
No,
way.
never.
Who would have thought?
Grabbing your wrist doesn't work either?
No, I'm saying you guys
Yeah,
are fucking
yeah.
joking. You
I got some
look at
cake.
fucking photos of these assholes.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Across the hood of the car.
Oh, yeah.
You get-
Busting that thing open.
And then,
Or as one of my old
Not being
instructors used to
able to
call that
holster their
stance,
shit.
the fuck me stance.
He's not wrong.
and then not being able to holster it, you should drill not being able to holster your shit.
Speaking of
Secret
not being able
Service.
to holster, you sent me the clip. I had it in here
Oh my
as well.
God, I sent you that
Another
clip
reason
too.
why
And you.
the female police officer is the most terrifying creature on the face of the earth. Where was this? What state was it in?
I don't remember what state it was in. I think it was.
It's the newest video making.
I
the
feel like it was
rounds.
fucking Florida, but like, so they get homeboy out of the car. He
Yeah.
gets pulled over for like a tab or like a light being out or something.
Yeah.
He's super compliant. He's like, hey, listen, I have a concealed handgun. He's being chill with the officers. They're like, all right, get out. We got to disarm you, all this stuff. They're patting him down. They get to the handgun, and the female officer goes to grab the handgun. And as she's unholstering, finger goes right into the trigger guard, and boom, shoots him in the leg. Not sure what handgun that was, though. I have a feeling it was a 320.
I will say, I'm surprised that the other cops didn't mag dump the dude because he was black.
Same.
He's resisting. Stop resisting.
Shot rung out, and immediately they didn't all mag dump him.
Yeah.
Or those are some cops who are look,
They're not all feds.
they're still
God
fucking
help.
cops, but those who they might be the little cream of the crop to not mag dump that
Or
guy.
hey,
Those are the best ones on the job.
no,
right
you know
there.
what helped the situation? No acorns fell in any car hoods.
That's true. It's true.
Do you want to know how many times I watched that video? Just because I was like, I'm certain that there is a sound that triggers her to fucking reach it and be like, oh, just start shooting. I mean, I know it was only once, but still.
Still, I watched.
as bad that one's
One
terrible.
more
As
time,
bad as
maybe.
that one is, the one with the chick who mag dumps into the
Oh my
apartment,
God.
reloads, and mag dumps again is so much worse to me.
Where
What?
she's
I haven't
going home
I haven't seen
and
that one.
She goes into the wrong apartment or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically... the
Minneapolis,
cops,
baby.
Yep, knock on this woman's door in the middle of the night. So the woman, cracks the door and, she's not, showing, her full body. It's just in the middle of the fucking night. She's not going to, open the door up. It's the police who are, 6 feet off the door at this point. like WhatsApp, she's not opening the door, she's not complying, like the door's like starting to shut, and like the female officer, the lead, pulls, dumps, reloads, dumps again into the apartment without any target, without anything to aim at, just firing to fire 2 full mags into it. I was like,
she feared for her
"Holy
life."
Shit.
And watch, she won't lose her job. I mean,
No.
law enforcement has a historical thing of
We investigated
not.
ourselves.
Yeah.
We didn't find ourselves
It's like the
involved.
Pentagon. We investigated ourselves. We lost like $37 billion, but it's fine.
Or like going to Ruby Ridge, like the FBI investigated, like, oh yeah, Lon Horiuchi definitely made a terrible shot, but fuck it, he's at Waco anyways, killing a bunch of cultists, so fuck
You know
him.
what? He did his best.
Yeah, he did his best. He shot Vicky Weaver in the fucking face, not knowing where she was. Hey, whatever.
Both teams had fun, and that's all that really matters. So it's fine.
Oh shit.
We killed this man. We killed this man's son and his fucking wife and his dog. Fuck it, we had fun.
More cops need to be on the job.
Jesus Christ!
I can't run that.
Fuck's sake!
I can't. I can take one word out. That's the best I can do.
More elevator music coming.
Yes.
You know, I was gonna get the Willie treatment for this episode.
You deserve that one.
Willie's first episode is still one of the funniest fucking things. They're just like,
20 minutes.
I kid you not. Like, there's no way to like put into words how much of that actually got cut out. I feel like half of it wasn't usable. Half of it literally wasn't usable.
I swear, because fuck, dude. I swear we were talking for like 3 hours, and then the episode ended up being like 45 fucking minutes long.
Literally.
I was like, what the fuck happened?
Because we're just looking
Yeah.
at each other, going back and forth, and we're just like, this isn't going on here.
This is going
Like,
worse
this
every
is-
time he opens his mouth.
Huge shout out to Nintendo for making all of their music royalty free.
That's phenomenal.
I don't know what game that's from, but it's a Nintendo song. I don't know what, but
It's
I want-
wild.
I
it's
want
like the Wii Shop channel music or something.
I want the Donkey Kong theme over
there you
that
go.
one. Then I'm
The
gonna. I
DK
might.
rap.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes, I might just run a string for you so that you can actually put
alright.
the whole thing in there.
I'll play the DK rap in its entirety over that one word.
One word that I can say over and over, and you'll be able to use.
You're allowed to say it. You're allowed to say it, so I'm going to play that word. I have no
You
problem.
have the
with
pass.
Hard R?
that. Dude, you are.
have
You
a
can
pass.
say it.
Oh shit.
You're a DEI hire.
One of you guys to pass so that you can just string it together.
No, I have.
No.
I don't know if I can run that. That'd be a little much.
But
God damn it!
Fuck.
you guys, it's a word. It's
It is a
how you
word.
use it. Jesus Christ! I didn't
He
use
said,
it
"Oh, for real?"
despairingly.
He said, "Oh, for real? It's just a Roman salute. It's just how you use it." Got it.
Went full Elon the second he was like, oh shit, yeah! Like every white guy from the burbs. Oh yeah!
Yeah, the double was wild.
Yeah, dude.
He didn't
No.
didn't adjust it.
No.
I thought for sure he was
My
going to
man.
adjust it.
You didn't even say it with your fucking chest.
Dude was like,
Yeah, he was fired up.
You
to throw
heard.
that out.
You could hear the fucking slap. My
could
man
hear the
slapped
fucking
himself.
bass.
He enthused. That wasn't autism. That was enthusiasm.
My man was fired up to do that on
He
the,
was.
on the main stage.
like,
He almost threw himself off the stage when he put his on. He was like, whoop. Oh,
Dude,
it's
I
gone.
was
Bring
like,
it back.
I
most
almost ran a
non-athletic.
shirt, and I was like, who's gonna buy this? I was like, I could think of like maybe 6 retards who would buy this, but after that, like, this isn't gonna
like
speak
6.
to anybody. Who's gonna walk around Musk throwing around a Nazi salute on their chest? Like, that's crazy.
All of the Patriot bottoms who were in D.C.
Now, I
the
will
other
say,
day.
I will have stickers ready to go because like the whole Project Stargate thing. The more I read and the more I hear about it, fucked up. Also, on the on the heels of that, a bill was just introduced to basically greenlight AI to write prescriptions.
What?
Yep.
Like, did not enough people watch fucking Terminator or like read
not.
or like like?
Mind you,
anything?
this is the AI that like. Okay, go ahead.
if you like fitness or you ever watch like RP Fitness on
Yeah.
YouTube, Mike Israetel seems to think that AI is just gonna like solve everything. He thinks,
The AI that we're talking about tells you it's good to eat glue.
yeah,
Like we're not dealing with like
Fun fact about Mike
solid
Israetel.
AI.
He's actually
Yeah.
local.
This
You should ask the Chinese AI. Yeah, no, have you heard?
Pull up Red Note. Someone pull up Red Note.
So DeepSpeak is the name of the new free large language model that an AI a Chinese company put out. It's an AI. They did it for a lot cheaper than the Americans have been doing it for, and it's less prone.
Nice.
This is true. Less prone to hallucinations and all this other stuff. So like hallucinations. It's when it's what they call when AI starts to tell you bullshit.
Okay. The founding fathers were black.
No, seriously, it'll tell you some, because again, and this is the thing, like, everybody runs around thinking like AI is going to be this fucking problem solver.
Yeah,
And
no.
it's not. It scrapes the information it has available to it. There's a reason that the first AI that was let online turned into a Nazi, because that's what it was fed.
Factory settings.
That's what it was fed. It was fed a bunch of bullshit, because that's what the internet will do. When everybody's faceless, you'll make a bunch of fucking shit like that.
Bro, I haven't even had dinner yet.
And
Damn it.
That's what they trained. That's how the model was trained. So, that's just how it is. So
What, did
if
they
you
take-
leave it?
Did they take that fucking AI and just like expose it to K for like 2 weeks? Like,
It
Jesus.
was. It was during that time. It wasn't. It wasn't Deep Blue. Was it Watson? No, it was like IBM.
It was IBM's robot?
This was,
Oh, God.
It was IBM's AI. This was like real early shit, right?
I think that was Watson.
This was
Fuck yeah.
way like
The thing that won Jeopardy turned into a Nazi?
once they allowed it to, because right, you want to win Jeopardy.
Yeah.
The only thing that you give it is the stuff that you need to answer the questions to Jeopardy, and then ask it a
So you're
question
telling me
you
at
want.
one point it truly believed only the good guys won every war throughout history. And
If
then
that's what it was
like,
fed
wait
on.
a second.
Well, that yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, that's what AI is.
There's no
It's
way
only
those ovens
going to
ran that much.
regurgitate the things
6
that
million,
are
are
fed
we
to
sure?
it.
There's no way they can run ovens that long.
6 million sounds like a lot. There's no way.
I actually think DeepSpeak was made for 6 million. On
That wasn't a dollar figure.
That was not a dollar figure.
I know. I was trying to segue us into it.
No. Wait.
Did you hear about the new German automobile?
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm walking into a bit or not.
We're walking into a bit.
Seats 2 in the back, 2 in the front, and 4 million in the ashtray.
We walked into a fucking bit. Das Auto?
Put the Jeopardy music over that one.
I got you. Oh, that's good.
Really? That's a.
No one wants to talk about.
I'm not taking that one out.
Oh, okay.
That
that
one
was
gets
a.
to see the light.
no one wants to
that
talk
joke.
about who founded VW. Okay.
DeepSeek.
DeepSeek. Okay.
DeepSeek is the name of it.
The Chinese one. Mm-hmm. Okay.
High Flyer is the name of the company that owns it.
Did anyone else find it hilarious how everyone like collectively lost their mind that TikTok was getting banned, and then it lasted like a whole 14 hours?
So what's even funnier is that like Duolingo reported a 200% increase in individuals who signed up to learn Chinese in order to
Go over to
how
Red Note.
to better communicate and read Red Note.
Do you want to know what's even crazier? Is that the blackout or the outage for TikTok was only through the mobile app.
Yeah.
You could get online. You could get on a desktop and
Interesting.
get on TikTok webs.
I can
So
probably say I've never accessed.
if you're
TikTok
not telling me
through a
that this
laptop.
isn't some sort, this isn't a company that is playing some sort of political game
Absolutely.
with
Oh,
the citizens of
100%.
the United States for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's. Look at the inauguration. Who was in the front row?
Yep.
And who was in the second row?
The tits.
Tits was in the front row.
Oh,
Calm
tits
down.
is in the
Tits
front
was
row.
in the front row.
Who's tits?
You didn't see Mark Zuckerberg staring at Bezos' mistress
Bezos'
tits?
wife. Zuck wasn't the only one. A lot of that's what you get when you wear a sports blazer and a fucking bra underneath. Look, I mean, okay, look, I'm sorry. The words "that's what you get" should have never come out of my mouth.
Slut, whore,
Yes,
pussy.
I'm sorry.
Deserved
That
it.
is not me. That is not me. So
She's asking for it.
maybe not the most. Maybe not the most appropriate outfit to wear to a presidential inauguration.
No, she read the crowd. It was Trump.
She did.
Yeah, she knew.
She did.
She knew what she was
but
doing.
Yes, no, it was more than just the Zuck who were ogling Bezos' wife. But yeah, I mean, look who was in the front row.
Are they officially husband and wife? I thought they were still just. I don't know.
Who cares?
Who cares?
I still call her
She's
his
gonna take him.
mistress.
She's gonna take him for billions. In,
Yeah.
Just like his
10
ex-wife
years
did.
anyway.
Exactly.
But yeah, the cabinet, who are also full of a bunch of rich motherfuckers. The American years of oligarchy. Again, this is just like the iron barons, the rail barons, the newspaper. I mean, because
But
now
this-
they
this
own
is-
the newspapers.
We're just in a new
own the
era
media.
of monopoly, and I don't care what anyone says. The antitrust laws have done nothing for the American people.
And the shit
It's
part about this is with AI now. This is like more of like this whole like security state that like everyone's been fearing forever. Like the Big Brother thing. Like with AI, with technology now, it becomes much more of a reality with this $500 billion investment we just threw to these people sitting at the front row of the inauguration who sought to silence everything and just censor everything in their own little, idea of what the world should look like in their image, the image of billionaires. And we're just supposed to think, oh, they got our man in office, so it's going to be fine now.
our guy won. But it's like, listen, if Orwell pretty much accurately predicted what was going to happen to Stalinism and communism in general with like Animal Farm, who's not to say he wasn't right eventually with 1984? Because we're getting to that point, and it's getting fucking scary.
That's the natural progression of any government, though, too.
Yeah,
Like,
well, any government's really tyranny if you look at it, and especially a government that has a standing army, like the majority of them do.
What was the I don't know chapter and verse, but there's a quote from the Bible that says that that when the Antichrist comes, that those who follow him will wear their mark upon his head.
It's in Revelations. I just
head?
can't remember, but
Is that part of the
It's-
Bible that
it's
that
the
Christians still follow, or is that one that they just decided they didn't like?
It really
anymore?
depends on who you talk to, honestly, because there's a lot of people out there that are using their views to justify stupid positions, as we both know. But yeah, no, it's the mark of the beast, and it's becoming very apparent to a lot of fringe Christian movements that's starting to kind of show its face in a weird way.
A certain red hat.
Yeah. It's almost like, he doesn't have your best interests in mind, and if you follow Trump like an idiot, you're an idiot. And he's also not for the working class. I've never understood that approach and how people seem to believe that shit. Oh, he loves the working class. Since fucking when? The guy has...
He's the working class.
Yeah, the guy that got a small loan of, what was it, $2 million is totally working class and totally has your best interests in mind. He's not full of shit.
All politicians should be destroyed, but especially those because a politician is supposed to represent the people, right? But
Yeah.
if all you've done your entire life is take advantage of people beneath you, why are we giving somebody like that a position over a lot of people, right? Someone could say every person, considering the office. But
No, I'm not finding this verse you mentioned. I'm looking for it.
Hold on, I got it. It's Revelation chapter 13, lines 16 through 17. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand and on their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of this name. Which, in the context of Revelation, at that point in time, all of those who followed the Antichrist were being marked as such, which means they were being pretty much marked for like eternal damnation, in a sense.
But you can only trade with people who also had the mark. You can only associate with people who also had the
It's like
mark.
a social credit.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
So- oh, if you think
hot.
that an authoritarian that anybody with an authoritarian bent wouldn't enact a social credit system if they could fucking get away with it in a heartbeat, because again, it puts that separation between you're in your class, you're in your level that you should be, and you're always going to be. And it's going. If there is a social credit score system, I can guarantee you that it will be manipulated to ensure that some people are in the upper percentage, a lot of people are in the lower percentage.
Of course.
It's just the way we work. Because we're all terrible, miserable human beings.
Speaking of the TikTok and Red Note thing, I don't have the numbers of the graphs in front of me, but allegedly there was a substantial increase in the value of Trump coin around the time where Trump had announced that, day one he was going to basically issue an executive order to turn it back on, and then he told the companies to turn it back on. So there's some allegations that potentially there was some money from China that came in and bumped up his crypto to pay for an executive order to allow the app to remain on in the U.S. However, when it came back on, 3 topics, noticeable topics that if you searched on the app, provided either no results at all, or if it did provide results, it gave sort of like a Facebook meta, like fact check bullshit message. So the first one that provided no results, that used to provide results, if you looked up fascism, you get nothing now. There's no results on all of TikTok. Let's think about TikTok space for a second. Who would be posting anything with and tagging fascism in it or fascist in it?
Left to center and far.
Anyone
leftist
against Trump's
individuals.
going to be using that tag, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly it doesn't exist. There's nothing on all of TikTok having to do with the F word. Okay. And then if you were to go and look up certain things about the wildfires or the hurricanes, there were also some silly labels and titles about like misinformation, stuff that never existed on TikTok before. I'm not sure what the angle was about that, but they magically appeared once the app got turned back on again. So I thought that was sort of interesting. Mostly the F word thing, no longer providing any results whatsoever. I thought that was kind of silly, but
Well, yeah, because
and again, I can't like confirm if the payment of crypto was the actual way in which things were negotiated and paid, but it would make sense.
even if not, I mean,
Since now the coin's worthless,
political currency was exchanged.
Yep.
It doesn't, even if it's not a monetary, a sum of money didn't exchange hands.
I ultimately do
still
believe though he's
favors-
going to just serve it up to Elon at the end of the day, regardless of who comes out with the
Or
strongest bid. I think
the
he just
other
gives it
the
to
other
Elon.
dude who owned like a social media company or some shit. who's in
I
the
think the
cabinet
entire
now.
purpose for him appearing as the good guy to keep it on is the end goal is just to get it to Elon. I think in his mind that's his goal.
Because TikTok was the one social media app in America not controlled
by America.
by America.
And
right?
it's coming out now that the main point in shutting it off was to control the Israel narrative.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, because so much was being broadcast through TikTok, kind of old Twitter, right? Old Twitter was anybody could upload anything, right? So if you were boots on the ground or you're just some fucking schmuck running from a shelling in your war-torn area,
You're throwing rocks at tanks.
You could
Yeah.
you could film this, and you could upload it into a public square, and it was one thing that America couldn't control the narrative on.
Yep.
And that was getting Democrat, Republican. They're all fucking. It's the two wings of the same bird, and it's fucking crooked. It's corrupt, decaying.
And I'm not, by no means am I saying I want TikTok to be around and I think it's this huge thing about freedom of speech and whatnot. Like, listen, if it's controlled by a Chinese government, I don't give a shit. But, like, at the end of the day, this is not the biggest fucking problem we need to be looking at, like, right now in this fucking country. So, like, who fucking cares about this? Like,
Chinese government is making it harder for me to get health care.
This is true. This is true. The Chinese government has so far stolen $0 from me by the force of violence.
Chinese government is not. I mean, and that's a whole a whole episode just on philosophical poli-sci fucking conversations
Call it patriotism.
of okay, so like, why is China the number one manufacturing country in the world? Is it because Americans won't do the jobs, or is it because
the corporations who own those jobs decided that they would like to make more money off of their products and then sent it over there. Chinese manufacturing. Also, it's not all dog shit. If you think that a company or a country that has been a major manufacturing hub for at least 60 fucking years isn't on some cutting edge of the manufacturing industry, you're fucking high.
Yeah.
Or retarded. And if you then are willing to go, well, it was made in China, it's Chinese crap. Okay, sure.
It's a lot of
Find your
American-made crap.
find your American made part or your American made device and show me every single one of those pieces was made in America.
Yeah.
You can't.
Show me
literally
an
can't.
American-made phone.
You can.
Yeah.
They don't exist, or if they do, they're niche.
They ain't gonna stand up to
probably
anything
hot
else.
garbage because America, if you want to personify it, let all these jobs go away because the government, politicians, capitalists all told us that this was what was best for America at that time, right? So don't complain about China. Oh, my hollow son's listening to me, and my
We did
my
this bit last
Baofeng's
time, yeah.
spying on me.
Relax,
because,
Dutch.
You know what? It doesn't matter because fuck. You say anything. I've turned off all permissions on my fucking phone, and my microphone is off, and somehow my phone still listens to me. So it doesn't. Everything's listening to everybody. The Chinese government aren't interested in what these two fucks who are sitting here scrolling through their phones are talking about. Do you know how much data would if the Chinese government were spying on us through every single fucking electronic device that they make? Do you know how much data they would have to fucking sort through to find anything fucking meaningful? It doesn't make sense. People just like to fearmonger and get all up in arms.
Well, I mean, the whole thing about like us versus them comes down to like the whole patriotism bit, where it comes down to, if you really think about it, you don't hate anyone in China. There's not a single person you can point to in China and go, I hate, unless it's a government official. But otherwise, like, you don't know anyone in China. You have no reason to actually hate the people of China. You only have reason to hate your government, and most likely the only reason why their government hates you is because of your government. And so, like, when you really zoom out, it's sort of like this whole patriotism thing it simply just exists to stir people up to go rah rah, get 'em tiger, pay your taxes, pay your war bonds, go to war with Cuba, go to war with the Middle East, go to war with Russia, China, whoever the fuck it is, because for democracy, for the American spirit, for the American dream, that's how it is. That's how it always should be. We're the best, and that's what Tolstoy wrote a lot about. Is sort of the flaw in patriotism inherently.
Oh, we're the best.
Patriotism in general across.
I really wish these rah rah America first American imperialism douchebags who espouse that and actually believe it. Where are we at infant mortality rates in the world standings? Right?
Well, that's the thing that leaves to be questioned. What actually do we have to be fucking proud of? The fact that we're this global imperial power
We're the
that
bully.
We can kick your ass. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can show up. We'll
With a
show up
big
in your
dick.
country, kick the shit out of you, and then we'll put a fucking Burger King up, and we'll we'll show up and beat the fucking brakes off your government, destroy your infrastructure, and say, "All right, deuces, we're fucking
Install
out."
And
puppet
throw up the
government.
side after you just leveled your mud huts. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like the Iranian Revolution. Look at the Iranian Revolution. I mean, if you don't think that Americans' foreign interests have gotten us to the place where we are reaping what we sow internationally.
100%. The whole situation with the Iranians and our whole issue with Iraq is directly our fucking fault for toppling their government back in what, the 50s?
Yeah.
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 Because
60s.
one fucking CIA or FBI, or it was a CIA agent, couldn't let it go that he couldn't get the mission done. So he's like, no, fuck this. The Shah's got to die. Like,
And that's the thing too. Like, we say all this, but like, and stop looking at fake girls. They're not
It's
real.
not. No.
it's just
real.
as funny.
Okay, we're fat shaming. That's okay. Fat shaming remains cool. That's allowable.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'll allow it. Hey, at least she's walking.
Yeah, she's not a fucking rascal.
Ain't no.
All right, I'm gonna land this plane before we go on to the last topic because we're over almost at an hour 30. Holy shit! And this is like, it took me a while to sort of wrap my head around this and comfortable with this about how patriotism is bad, but like, you have to separate your country and your government. And unfortunately, they're the same thing right now. But like, when this whole American spirit, this whole, freedom thing, like, it all stems from the 1776 thing. And like, what happened there wasn't stomping out the biggest bully and the biggest government to stand up the next biggest bully and the biggest government. It was to stamp it out and then to just be free without having to live with a boot on your neck. And like, that's what the American spirit is. It's not democracy, fuck your country and your mud huts will take in your oil sort of thing. Like, that's why everyone hates you, and that's how you end up fighting to potential nuclear proxy wars like we are right now.
But here's the thing. We watched that happen. We watched this revolution happen where we took the boot off of our own neck, and then as soon as we got our own power...
We wrote pieces of paper that said we want to stand up the next power.
Yeah, and then we started putting boots on people's necks. Look at Shays Rebellion, the Whiskey Rebellion.
Yep.
Where they were like, okay, yeah, we need to repay these war debts. Okay, we're going to tax the ever-living fuck out of everything.
I'm going to bring up some Spooner stuff right now, too, because there's a lot of constitutionalists around who are saying, abolish every agency in the government that's not listed in the Constitution. The Constitution is full of a lot of bullshit outside of the Bill of Rights. And even some of the Bill of Rights aren't really fully well vetted. Because
they're not great.
At the end of the day, I don't care what piece of paper it is. I don't care who the person is or what the body of people are like. You have natural rights, and nobody can take those away, add to those. Like, those are just what they are because you're a human being. But like, there are things in the Constitution that like explicitly say like you can't question a representative when like they're doing their job or making a law, and like that's pretty inherently like anti-American like constitutionalist rhetoric. So like, there's a lot of misunderstanding about what is in the Constitution and what the Constitution led to, and like why it's sort of like a pitfall.
I mean, you're talking about a 200-plus-year-old document,
Yeah,
written in ages ago by a small group of individuals who all happen to have the same similar backgrounds, similar presence, and similar futures ahead of them. Voting on the whole "what's good for the goose is good for the gander" type of a thing. But also,
it was written by like 17, 18-year-olds too, which is crazy.
Sure, yeah.
With some aristocrats mixed in there.
Back then, if you made it to 40, that was you were
ancient.
Yeah, you had like
these guys were living their midlife crisis when they wrote it.
six generations of grands underneath you at that point in time. But also, like, they weren't so ignorant to realize that they're not the voice of like. They're not the end-all, be-all. They're not the alpha, the omega. They're not God. It was supposed to be re-fucking-written every 19 years, right? I don't know if I agree with it, but some sort of a let's move through the generations. And as we progress as humanity, should you make some adjustments according to the times. If you brought Ben Franklin out here and you showed him this fucking thing, he would probably
look at my misery rectangle, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, he would probably die. He would probably you have little
Watch me
people.
show this.
You have little people trapped in a box in your pocket. That is just
witchcraft.
demonic.
Burn him at the stake.
Resuscitated with the Marlboro Red 100.
No, then you show him OnlyFans and you really send him over.
Give him some Marlboro Reds and a Coors Banquet, brother.
He's like, we did it right, boys.
See, but you think he's going to go over the edge based on prostitution's the oldest fucking profession in the world.
They didn't look like that back then.
They didn't just fuck prostitutes back then. There's a reason a lot of African Americans are related to Thomas Jefferson, okay?
True.
He was a piece of shit. But also something that a lot of people don't recognize too is that our founding fathers were very against a standing army of any kind.
Yep.
Because it's a tool of tyranny.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah. So we cool. We kicked the British out of our country, right?
Yep.
But we didn't decide to go to fucking Britain and kick the shit out of them and be like, "Hey, we're gonna introduce democracy." You know what?
Well,
you guys, everybody who lives here.
Then, though,
it's
so
true.
It
There's
didn't
no
make
oil.
sense
There is
for us
no
to go
oil
there.
there. But
once we got the boot off our neck, all those people who were like, man, it'd be really great if I could put the boot on somebody else's neck. And that's just where we at.
That's just what
how
the
we got
cycle
where we are now.
repeats. It's partially just the nature of that style of governance is someone has to be oppressed and someone has to be oppressing. There is no middle ground. There is no everyone lives in harmony. There's just oppressed and oppressor. There's no winning.
And that also comes from, like, this is going to sound super college professor gay, but, like, societal structure where, like, everyone is simply only working for their own, like, self.
Yeah.
It's not, like, communal at all in that sense. I'm not trying to get, like, communism here, but, like, there's no way where, like, I'm not going to work to make the world a better place necessarily for my neighbor or my family or the people
because it doesn't matter to them.
Rely on me, right? I'm only going to work for a paycheck. That's why we have cops. That's why we have the people in the IRS, the people in shitty and like insurance companies that fuck people over like nonstop. And like so that sort of helps build up to that dynamic where it's like you're always going to have oppressor and oppressed because you don't have like tight-knit communities that can just sort of be self-sufficient relying on each other. Everyone's sort of floating around their own little bubble in this fucked up little, top-down system. You have
One of the greatest tricks the capitalists have ever pulled was to convince you that you need them.
Yeah,
and you don't.
Exactly. But if you look at like the early frontier towns of when this country was founded, that was the closest thing to anarchy we've ever had, where these were local communities, like small communities that were governing themselves, had militias that took care of everything. And the best part about the militia, their only job wasn't to come out and police you and beat the shit out of you because you were, disobeying a law.
Yeah.
These were, at that time.
More likely is because you were red.
Yes. But, like, their only job wasn't to come out and enforce the law and put the boot on someone's neck. They were your neighbor. They were the guy that worked the lumber mill. They were the guy that worked everywhere else. And they came together during an emergency to help each other. Because back then, if you didn't work together, everyone died.
Well, there weren't cops. There weren't cops back then.
The British.
The sheriffs. Even then. I mean, like, you're talking at a time when, the cops, constables, like, you had a village defense force.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, that wasn't the dude's job.
Exactly.
He was a carpenter. He was a farrier. He made slop, right? Like, that was your... And then, oh, shit, like, guess what? Trouble's coming into town. Hey, everybody, stop doing what it is that you're doing. Now it's time to take on your secondary job.
Yeah, get your rifle and go.
You had
community
peacekeepers.
defense.
You didn't have law enforcement.
Exactly.
And that duty of law enforcement and justice wasn't outsourced to some third party that's completely removed that, also has to make a buck out of it.
Yeah. Because law enforcement in America is a scam, as is the prison system, because it's all for profit.
It all descendants
even the legal system. Look at the fucking
slave
legal system.
catchers.
You have no prayer of making it out of even a basic court case unless you fork over thousands and thousands of dollars to somebody who can speak the lingo in one room that doesn't exist anywhere else in the fucking world. Like, it's crazy.
I can confirm that from personal experience. 4,000 grand, like 4,000 later. Sure as shit, look at this. Like, I had to pay that guy a shit ton of money for something that, if I was educated in that lingo, I would have been able to do it to my fucking self. Like, I literally found out afterwards that to get everything done that I needed to get done, I could have done it myself for fucking free. But instead, I paid some asshole $4,000, which, again, thank you, boys, for helping me out with that. But that's a whole other thing. Like, what we have allowed to happen to our country and what we have allowed our society to turn into, like, with just generations upon generations of these selfish fucks ruling over us, and that's what it is now. It's not really a democracy anymore. We've been in the stages of oligarchy for a long time, since Reaganomics, if not before.
I think well before, yeah.
And we were warned about this. Like, Ike warned us, like, hey, the military-industrial complex is going to fuck us. And everyone thought he was crazy, and no one listened to him.
Since the American people had a hard-on for Henry Ford. I feel like I ranted about Henry Ford.
Oh, hey.
Look. At this table more than once. So
I'll leave
him alone
another open fucking Nazi.
Yeah. Shout out Disney.
Shout out Henry Ford Jr. for trying to build a village in Brazil.
That's right.
For no fucking reason, and then never learning Portuguese.
Costco is verging on that too. They're building apartments on top of their stores now.
I saw that. That's
Well, did you
wild.
see that
I've
Costco?
been to Costco.
Costco told their shareholders to fucking eat a dick.
Really?
Their shareholders said, "Shut down your DEI program." Costco said, "Eat my dick."
Oh.
This Costco CEO is probably the only CEO that I can think of that like.
He's
doesn't
gangster as
deserve
fuck.
a bullet.
He's
Hold on,
gangster as
hold on.
fuck.
Arizona.
He might.
Arizona.
Arizona
Iced tea.
The guy that literally said, "Fuck you, you're not upcharging on my shit," but 7-Eleven still does. Fuck 7-Eleven.
Fuck 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
Except
fuck
Japanese
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
Japanese 7-Eleven is
fucks.
great. Bro, I
If
went
you're
to
ever
Japan.
in Japan and you go to a 7-Eleven, rice balls. Oh my god.
Rice balls.
The
Oh
rice
my
balls,
God.
the egg salad. Usually you hear gas station egg salad and you get scared. No, that shit's fresh made every day.
Or
It's phenomenal.
Takoyaki.
Oh, bro. Yeah, Japan's a fun time. I just wish
Japan's
they weren't
sick.
so cucked with everything else.
Wish they weren't
I-
racist.
I will say one thing about the DEI initiatives dying. I have no problem with DEI initiatives dying, but like if you just like in a diversity and inclusion wing, that's fine. Specifically focusing on equity. though is inherently a
Yeah,
problem.
fuck
So-
equity.
That's a problem.
A diversity of
By definition, it is racism,
Or-
and it is also
Yeah.
it's a Marxist
Yeah.
movement by definition.
Well, so
the Marxists
equity
literally
itself-
came together and said it's literally just perverting. They call it vulgar Marxism, the traditional Marxism, switching out economic factors with race, basically, as a way to fire up their own sort of.
Well,
the reason equity sucks is instead of being the equality of opportunity, it's trying to force inequality of outcome,
yeah.
and that doesn't work ever.
It's not an equality that's based off of merit. It's an equality based on entitlement.
Everyone
Which
say it together. Boeing.
Boeing.
Yeah, bro.
Or an even more recent example, and I sent you that document of the,
The
LA Fire.
California wildfires.
Yeah, where literally the deputy chief of the LA Fire Department was like, "Oh yeah,
Even
we're all
better,
about DUI."
Louisiana, the fucking police chief.
Who literally killed 2 pedestrians with their
Yes.
fucking car.
Hold on. Where were you going with the police chief of LA County?
So
a lady who was who was in the job for 20 fucking years and had held every single position that you could inside of a fire department is a DEI hire.
So the LAFD deputy chief, who also on the occasion where she was interviewed was like, "Oh yeah, if your 200-pound husband was trapped in a fire, he shouldn't have been there in the first place, and I'm not getting him out." What kind of fucking firefighter, are you at that point? Because every firefighter that I know, male and female, looked at that as such a backstep, especially for females in the position. I get it that she worked her way up, but at the same time, that was not a fucking statement you should have made, especially when her command made so many mistakes. And again, I'm not in that position, so I can't necessarily judge, but made so many mistakes where they would use DEI to hire people instead of qualifications
What's up?
and passed
Give me those
over
tootsies.
people that were more qualified for the job and didn't focus on wildland fire protocols, when in all reality, California is literally one mistake away from burning off this fucking continent. Because of
you're
all
telling me that Southern California, which is a desert,
dry oak and
Well,
You're telling me. Hold on. You're telling me that the indigenous people built their houses out of fucking mud because
it's fire resistant?
It's fireproof. Oh, right.
and not
I
modern
don't
construction.
Look, I don't feel bad about fucking. Look, everybody who died sucks. You lost your house sucks. Guess what?
unless you're a millionaire.
Guess what? Sucks for them too. But you know what? Fuck them. They shouldn't
No.
be having
Fuck
GoFundMe's.
millionaires.
But at the same time, recognize where you live. If you live on the coast,
Thank you.
You're gonna flood. If you live in a swamp, you're gonna have alligators, right? If
Well,
you live in the city,
this is my
you're
thing
gonna
with
have rats.
the California wildfires in general. For a very long time, it has been shown to CAL FIRE, their Land Bureau, and everyone else that, hey, this is preventable if you guys would go and cut this dead underbrush or this brush, and you need to
Forest management.
Yeah, you need
And
to actually
control
manage
burns.
Yeah,
Like
you
the
need to-
UP.
You need to manage that. You need to manage this, but instead, they're ruled by people that are very much environmentally friendly, which like isn't an issue. But when you go overboard with it, you're causing more harm than good, and you're introducing these invasive species like the eucalyptus tree that will literally destroy your ecosystem, especially when it comes to a fire. And we're seeing wildfires that are burning so hot that it's scorching soil to the point where nothing can grow
And
back.
this whole, and to sort of bring the initial topic back into the purview here, like, yes, like, basing, like, someone's identity as, like, the primary driver to hire them for a position is fucking retarded, but, like, this whole thing, like, a cover-up to the fact that, like, they can't, and they is, like, the state in general, no one's going to stop your house from burning down. They can't stop your house from burning down. They can't stop a hurricane from leveling your property and taking away everything you own, no matter how many taxes you pay. Look at LA County. Look how expensive it is to live there. And despite all that you pay, the fucking water reservoir was empty. For some godforsaken reason, a Jewish family owned the water. I'm not sure how that works, but there's a Jewish family that owned the water. There was no forest management happening. And despite that, you're still going to lose everything you own. Despite that, they're still going to poison the world. And yet the only thing they can control and the only thing that they can sort of use as a lever to pull for votes is DEI, is electric cars, is climate stuff. But no matter how good it sounds, no matter how great it sounds to push like electric cars, renewable energy, and all this stuff, like all that is so severely flawed. It's just like grasping at straws as a way to show, look at how useful we are, look how badly you need us to keep you safe and to save the world. But at every natural disaster that happens, like there's nothing that people can do to prevent it. And so to force people to pay these taxes, to be subjected to these morons, is just absurd and insanity by definition.
Agreed.
And I'm saying all this without any real solution, so I realize this is completely useless to anyone listening and hoping
Typical-
for a path forward. But
Typical anarchist
that-
things.
That's just what it is, though.
Well,
You want a
and-
solution? Overthrow your local government.
well, the thing is too, looking at
Establish a community.
I'm walking
a
away now.
community
He can
you
say
wanna
whatever
live in.
he wants. Keep talking. I'm going to pull out the prop for the last topic.
Well, here's the thing too. Looking at like our industry, mine and Demo's industry, you look at California in particular. They ruined the diesel industry with all of their emissions bullshit, which was mainly a protocol that was pushed by California with
So-
the introduction of DEF and all this other shit.
There's not a huge issue really with emissions on diesels. Yes, they have flaws, but like the newer stuff coming out, emissions on your truck is just going to make it run better, have better mileage.
It has gotten better, but however, for a long time, it caused a lot of issues in
You're,
the industry.
you're going to tell me that capitalist corporations aren't going to invest in trying to make cleaner, more efficient engines instead, unless somebody comes along and has to put like regulations on you. Hey, you have to make your stuff better.
Yeah, agreed. There needs to be some sort of regulation when it comes to that shit, or else we're going to ruin our fucking environment, which we already kind of are. But that's a whole other topic.
But yeah, I mean, as far as like the emissions goes, just because that's the only thing that I really know about it, like modern diesel engines are probably the cleanest thing that you could drive. The only thing coming out of a diesel exhaust pipe is water and carbon dioxide. Like, I mean, as far as modern diesel emissions goes, I don't have an issue with it. That being said, I do drive a deleted truck, but
Exactly. So who the fuck are you to talk about it?
Why is there a pizza box zip tied to your fucking grill?
To keep the
Because-
heat in, dog.
because diesels, when they
Look at that.
run at not operating temperature, they form condensation inside the cylinder, and so when it's super cold, like it was at the beginning of this week, it was like when I walked out to get in my truck, it was like -9 degrees without wind chill. It takes longer to hit operating temperature, and I'm not trying to hydrolock a cylinder with condensation. So I put cardboard in front of my grill to let the truck hit operating temperature sooner, because I would drive like 15-20 miles before my truck hit 210 degrees.
It's kind of a shitty thing about the diesel stuff. Is that mostly just a Duramax thing, or is that all diesels?
That's
in general?
all diesels.
That's kind of what I figured, because I've watched a lot of guys do it.
Especially the straight
The straight six
straight
Cummins?
6 or a straight 8 or whatever. But yeah, like Cummins especially, have that issue. And then like semi trucks, that's why you see like semi trucks have like the whole front end is covered up. They can't get really any airflow. It's because they want to keep them warm. But
All right.
that was a tangent.
Yeah. So let's see this last prop.
All right. Enough the doom and gloom.
Yes.
So Max, the boy from Dead Concepts, the guy who's living in the hellscape that is Chicago,
Legend.
and making his own kit and nylon by hand, sent me V2 of the shoulder pads. I literally just got them in the mail the other day. I threw. You guys want to put this on and like test them out? The right shoulder with these sort of the wire loops is V2. V1's on the other one. Give me your thoughts. V2 seems a lot more rigid,
It looks
from
like
what
it.
I understand.
What is that his carrier or is that
This is my carrier. This is just the JPC one that's been
Okay.
modified to shit. I have his cummerbund on here, which I love because it's got the elastic component and it's structured.
That kinda
I can-
fucks. I'm
I
not
can
gonna lie,
still
dude.
Mount the Faro soft armor on it if I want. Yeah, his cummerbund is by far the coolest thing I think I've ever seen. The cummerbund and the shoulder pads to me are like the breadwinners for him. He makes his own carriers and mag pouches, but I already had a carrier and I wasn't ready to drop the dough. If I had the dough, I'd definitely buy his. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts on the shoulder pads. This already feels it's got more padding on it.
Did
on
you
this one, but
Did you ever get a price point on him for one of those carriers, by the way? Or
I'm not
is he
sure
not
the full carrier. That's fully all the mags.
'Cause,
that are
like,
loaded,
my-
so it feels like it weighs a ton. That's
So like my main project right now is to get that shell back I bought off of Willie to actually be a
Yeah.
decent carrier because stock it kind of sucks dick. Not gonna lie, but other than that, I like the carrier. I want to upgrade it more, and he's definitely someone I'm gonna hit up for.
yeah. No, I know for
Your
a fact the
best
shoulder
bet
pads are like
is
35-ish.
to Send him the carrier. So
That's
he
what I'm gonna
can
do.
Get his hands on it.
I've been
the
talking to
Dead
him.
Concepts carrier at HTA,
Dude,
and I was a
he's-
fan.
He is such a cool guy.
If I ever want to get
enjoy
out of my
talking to him.
LV119, I'll probably check his out for sure. But
From what I can tell, there's a lot more padding in V2.
yeah, I mean, just from you holding it right there, the shoulder pad looked a lot more structural.
I mean, it does feel like it's distributing the weight a little better. This one's like
Sort of digging into the
V1
trap.
is the profile is much slimmer on V1. I can tell like V2, there's just a lot more
So is it more similar?
mass there.
Is it more similar to like the cry like
wider.
pads that came with it?
No. So I had the
Yeah.
Faro.
I know, they're
I had
junk.
the Faro pads.
They're
on
shoulder
there
sleeves.
before.
They're not pads.
The Faro pads I did not like at all. Honestly, that's a huge step from the Faro pads.
You didn't like the Faro
I
pads?
didn't. I gave him to Willie. I ended up saying to Willie.
Really?
Yeah.
I
wonder how
like
he likes
the
his Pepsi.
Faro pads on mine, but I mean, I really haven't tried a whole bunch of them.
How do you
I
like
do
the,
want to get the tubes.
How do you like the tubes?
I like them.
Fucking love tubes.
That's definitely something I'm looking at, like retrofitting onto my carrier because I fucking hate the cummerbund that's
Yeah.
on that thing. Like,
I think
that-
Cobra Bucket would be easier. I
Ooh.
just
Plates are these?
those are RMAs. Fours.
Really?
RMA fours.
Because this thing is way,
I have a set of those
You
on.
got 3 loaded mags in there. You got 2 IFACs and
way heavier than mine.
Honestly, though, that's the one thing I.
a knife of Baofeng.
No, if I'm
Jesus
not-
Christ, you have that fucking
Lift
poor
heavier?
JPC loaded.
Yeah.
Hit the gym, dog.
I have been.
But I have
He's
like
trying,
no,
leave him alone.
I even took the GP pouch off on the side, so because I was playing around with ways to run that radio antenna extension.
Yeah.
Do you have the
I definitely feel this
secondary?
way more
Yeah.
than this one.
Do you have the other one?
Yeah,
So I can play
yeah.
with it not on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's way nicer.
The V2 seems to be
It was our day yesterday too.
narrower.
Yeah.
The V2 is narrower, which I'm not entirely certain is the way to go. With considering that you're bearing the entire weight of the rig on your shoulders, I would think that you would want the shoulder strap to be a little wider.
Yeah,
Sure.
you definitely
I do
feel that
like-
V1 way more than the V2. The V2
Okay.
definitely feels more comfy.
I don't think
I'm too fat for this fucking carrier.
the actual padding is any thicker in the V2. I think that it's just structured differently because the Tigris that he has in here is not in with because
Sure.
the Tigris and the V1
Yeah.
is put together. Now, this is not in no way disparaging
Yeah.
his work at all. I think that this inner Velcro should be this 3-inch
Okay.
as opposed to this half, or what is it, this 1.25 inch maybe, whatever it is.
That looks like an inch maybe.
And that's just from seeing, I have Shaw pads and I have axle pads.
Mm-hmm.
Those
and
axle
just
pads
seeing,
go hard.
Seeing between the two of them, yeah. So I have Shaws that are up for grabs. But yeah, I mean, I like the Tigris in it to give it some sort of a structure, right? I don't know if taking it out of the actual pack, right? Because
Sure.
I don't want to destroy that, but it looks like it may just be glued on there.
Sure. Yep.
Versus actually, which could be the fact that he doesn't own a sewing machine that can press through
Yep.
that Tigris, because that's going to be your biggest. Not a lot of people have a.
I got Gorilla Glue and JB
industrial-
Weld, worst case.
Hell yeah, brother.
Industrial sewing machine, but it does look like he has he has sewn through, the Tigris at some point. But I don't know. I think that just an attachment here to the pad and here to the pad with that glue, I think that's going to be your failure point on this.
Sure, that makes sense.
If anything, you're gonna get it's going to move.
Yeah.
Right, because of where it's at.
Especially
You're-
side to side.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
it's
gonna
going to
start
get
getting
hot.
the shift.
Yeah, that glue is going to come off.
Yeah,
and then you're
to
going
like
to
seam it
lose.
here.
Sure, and I mean, like I've
To
JB
close
welded,
the sandwich, if you will.
Yeah.
I've JB welded a ton of shit, so why,
Same.
you might as well.
Also, yeah.
I'm gonna run these though. See what
100%,
happens with them.
yeah.
And who knows, maybe V1s will go up for sale here soon.
I think the worst thing that you can do for a maker, for anybody, is, I think your stuff is great.
It's perfect. No feedback.
No feedback.
Yeah.
If you think you need to change something, if you think something should be, hey, and you know what? You might have a dog shit idea. Everybody does. Everybody, we all have fucking bad ideas every once in a while, but a single person cannot see something from every angle.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I agree with your feedback. I do like those more than V1. I think the only potential, and it's not an issue now, obviously, because they're new, is where that Tigris marries that pad on the bottom there, because it seems to be an adhesive bond.
And it could very well prove to be a moot point because the fact that the plate bags are so heavy and they're
But if you're
exerting that
running,
downward pressure.
I agree.
I don't know if it, even if it does end up separating, if it's actually going to be a structural
because north
issue.
south is completely sewn through. It's just east west. The long sides of the pad are not sewn.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is still like prototype. He said this isn't like he's not selling these yet. I still paid him because we don't. He doesn't
Why not? Yeah,
pay
throw-
me to
throw him
show
some
this
dollars.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to support him because I like his stuff. So yeah, I'll make sure to share the feedback. I'll share the DMs as they come back. But I like this dude, and I want to keep running his stuff as much as possible. All right, on the plate carrier here are the prototype of the dead V2 of the Dead Concepts shoulder pads. Holding V1 in my hands. V1 from a height and width perspective are a little more of a slimmer profile. The padding and the kydex are all sort of integrated, kept into one neat package. However, with V2, the padding is much thicker and it sits much lower on the actual shoulder strap of the plate carrier. There is more padding. What you did hear us mention is that there is no seam running east-west to sort of keep the kydex with the padding. There are seams north-south, though, to keep it fit. Again, this is just a prototype. I'll share the DM that I had with Max when I brought this up. He's going to figure out a way to work it out, but again, This is just, we just threw these on the plate carrier. We don't know how they're going to hold up after some extended wear, so I'll try beating the shit out of them. But everyone said they felt much more comfortable just due to the padding and where the padding sits lower on the strap. But wanted to just give a visual after we talked about it for a little bit. Still definitely worth reaching out to Max for the shoulder pads, whether they are the V2 prototypes or the V1s. I'm still going to hold on to these because I love these so much. Best shoulder pads I have ever worn. I've gotten rid of the stock Cry sleeves because they just suck. And I prefer these over the Faro pads. I completely sold my Faro pads because these are just a world ahead of them. But that's all I wanted to say.
Dude, just from your interview alone, I like the guy. Like,
He's the man.
Please don't share my feedback because
No,
all I did.
that's
I mean,
important.
all I
No,
did was
because I
just.
did it. This is the first time I haven't. I literally opened the package and I haven't looked at them.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure everyone else got their hands on, looked at it together. I didn't notice, where seams could have been, maybe to make sure it was structurally sound. But again, this is all prototype. He hasn't sold this anywhere else, so I want to make sure that he gets the feedback and tightens it up before he starts selling it. Yeah.
And as that, because like I said, I didn't know it was a prototype and it wasn't a for a sale model. Is that he could be adhering it with an adhesive simply for the
Right.
fact of I just want you to run it.
Look
and you're
at
like,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
cool. Like I'll run a stitch down the center in order to like lock it to the Tigris, as but it hey, it's not going to really provide too much.
Yeah.
I'll glue it for the prototype to send out to my R&D guy, kind of a thing.
And I'll run stitches down the center of it too if I need to, honestly.
yeah, I think that's kind of my biggest gripe with it so far is not seeing a stitch down the center of
Yeah.
it like that. Like the fact that this is adhesive holding it on.
And I'll DM him. That may just be like for a purpose of getting it out and to see what we think. And,
But
Also-
I like the concept.
yeah.
We could be talking a whole lot of fucking mad shit because you know what? You could put them on and it runs fine.
It might just
and
work.
you
just-
don't see
because
any
again,
issue.
north south, those are sewn together. It's east west that
Yeah.
are. Yeah. So
That's my only real
Yeah.
concern. But at the same time, your main goal with shoulder pads is going to be that
things-
north-south
things
movement.
rotate though too, so like that could start to cause like a shift as well.
Well-
So yeah, right.
I think that's kind of the upside with like a Tigris compared to like a normal stiffener is that it's not really going to bow like side to side movement. It's going to
Right.
flex with your body, which is why we're seeing Tigris take off as much as we
Yeah.
are in our industry.
Yeah. I'll share the feedback. I'll share the DMs too. They'll be grateful, and
Which
keep reaching out for him if you need kit because I love the dude.
Which,
And
I mean-
he's fighting the good fight in Chicago.
yes, he is. Which also plugging gear in general with our homeboy here. That fucking sling looks dope, dog.
Oh, thanks. That shit's fun, man. I love it.
Selling
Miami
it
Tiger
all
this
in-house?
month. Oh yeah, no, thanks for reminding me. I totally would have forgot. Giving away a Benchmade. Dog's growling.
At nothing.
Giveaway ends. We shut down the site on the 14th, and then on the 16th of February, I'll do a live stream and gonna give away a Benchmade SOCP Mini. Brand new. It's in the box still. I have the box here.
Great fucking knife.
There's a post explaining giveaway rules. You can get free entries if you haven't taken advantage of that already. And then every $5 spent on the site doesn't have to be on the new slings. Just anything on the site. I'm going to try to maybe throw like a slap or a patch out there too to help people, just maybe spend $5 and that's it to get entries. Also adds to your chances of winning. But that's all I had. What about you fellas? Are we good? Shall we go smoke some cigars? Should you enjoy your dinner finally at 10 o'clock, 10:30?
Yeah, well.
Boy dinner.
Dude, it was literally the fastest that they could get here. Homeboy showed up in like one of those nice-ass Genesis coupes, though.
Nice.
I think it was pretty slick.
Where's there even a fucking rallies around here?
I don't know.
Apparently right up the street. Like, it was like 5 minutes away from here.
That's news to me.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I was like, where the fuck is there a Checkers around here? Fuck it, I want Checkers.
Hell yeah. All right. We'll call it there. We'll eat. We'll smoke some stoves. Thank you, fellas.
Yeah.
Deuces.